Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Natasha Kirchak here with ILTV's Morning Briefing. Israel is believed to have just carried out massive airstrikes in Syria. Arab media is reporting that Israeli jets have been spotted launching missiles at an Iranian military base near Al-Kiswa, allegedly destroying an arms depot. Israel, as a rule, doesn't comment on military activity like this, but Prime Minister Netanyahu has just issued a warning directly to Iran, unofficially confirming that Israel was behind the attack. "We will not allow a regime hell-bent on the annihilation of the Jewish state to entrench itself militarily in Syria." That's a promise from Netanyahu. The casualty toll is still unclear at the moment, though Arab sources say 12 Iranian militants have been killed in the blast. This Iranian base is the same one revealed by the BBC a few weeks ago, which satellite pictures show has been in the works for quite a while now. Israel believes the base is intended as a permanent foothold for Iran in the region, and clearly the army is taking all precautionary measures to make sure that doesn't happen. An Israeli woman and her daughter had a major scare this weekend when they accidentally drove into a Palestinian town on Saturday and had to be extracted by local police. The two are residents of Jerusalem and somehow made their way into the village of SYRIA, which is just east of the capital. When they realized they had ended up in part of the West Bank's Area B, which is under Palestinian civilian control, they called the police and were removed by Palestinian security forces. It's unclear if the two women strayed because of their GPS, but in the past, the app Waze has been responsible for inadvertently leading Israeli soldiers into Palestinian danger zones. Back in March of 2016, a battle broke out in the Kalandia Palestinian refugee camp when two armed soldiers accidentally drove their military vehicle into a route in the area that they thought was within the Israeli border. A 19-year-old Israeli was stabbed to death at a bus station on Thursday night, and his identity has now been cleared for publication. The teenager was an IDF soldier named Ron Yitzhak Kokia from Tel Aviv. Kokia was serving in the Nachal Brigade, which is an infantry unit that is just outside of Arad. He was reportedly waiting for a ride at a bus stop near Arad's shopping mall on Thursday night when he was fatally attacked by multiple assailants. Medics rushed to the scene at around 9:30 p.m., but he was already in critical condition and pronounced dead before they could even make it to the hospital. Kokia has now been promoted posthumously to sergeant. His murder is being considered a terror attack by Israeli security forces. Former Trump advisor Michael Flynn has pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about his contacts with Russia. And now it looks like Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner may have been the person who told Flynn to talk with the Russians, allegedly regarding an anti-Israel resolution at the United Nations. Kushner has been leading President Trump's push for Middle East peace between Israel and the Palestinians, but new turmoil suggests those plans may be in jeopardy. Word has it that President Trump will announce official U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital this week. This will be news many Israelis will be overjoyed to hear, but the Palestinians have told Kushner that if Trump makes the announcement, it will completely annihilate the White House's hopes for any peace plan. Hamas is joining this rally cry with a renewed promise of a fresh intifada terror wave if Jerusalem is indeed recognized as Israel's capital. The violence in Jerusalem this past summer was some of the bloodiest in years, but with tensions mounting as Trump prepares his statements, the world is bracing for what the fallout might be. One man has just had the ride of his life on a recent flight with El Al, literally. The Detroit resident was on board a flight from Newark Airport to Israel to attend his grandson's bar mitzvah when he had a hypoglycemic attack. Luckily, the president of United HATZALAH, which is an emergency medical service organization, was on the very same flight. Eli Bir was able to diagnose a man with dangerously low sugar levels and force-feed him honey and jam before he went into cardiovascular arrest. And not only did Bir potentially save the man's life, he also made sure the plane didn't have to make an emergency landing. Talk about everybody's hero. Bir spends 200 days abroad every year to raise the funds to cover the expenses of his 4,000 volunteer first aid and rescue organization. This story is probably going to be an excellent future selling point. El Al certainly thinks so. That's all for now. I'm Natasha Kirchak, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.